What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. This is Wingman Steve, and every single month on our Patreon, we do some bonus content for you. And this past month, Chris and I went to the Chord Music Festival, and we wanted to do a recap for that. And here's a little sneak preview on what you can see, or hear, rather, on our Patreon. We wanted to bring this episode to you. Please enjoy. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Steve.
How are you? Are you recovered?
I am recovered. It took about a day. It took about a day to get recovered from what was an amazing weekend full of everything you could possibly imagine. Well, maybe that's a little bit hyperbole there, but it was a good weekend. Great weekend.
Absolutely. And we have a friend who we shared the weekend with. His name is also Steve. Steve P. from the Something in the Wilderness pod. What's up, man?
Yeah. Hi. Thank you again for having me. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to chatting about our experience.
How did you find going to a Chord where you didn't have to chase Andrew McMahon sightings for 2 days?
Yeah, he has been there the last 2 years, so that was a little bit different. And I knew it'd be more chill for me. I was just there to check it out and like hang around. Definitely, like we'll get into it, but like Sunday was definitely like very chill for me. Just like hang out wherever, do whatever, see the bands I end up seeing. I was totally cool with it. I loved it.
Yeah. Steve and I hung out for the majority of the day, right? Even whether it be on the bleachers or in the thick of it. I do have a question for you, Steve. So in past years, you probably saw more Andrew McMahon fans, especially the year he was there. Did you run into any random Andrew McMahon fans this time?
Well, I knew my friend Connie was going to be there, but I mean, she was going either way. We didn't, go because the other was going to be there. She was just going because she's into a lot of the same music I am. So you could kind of say random, but not really because we chatted ahead of time. Yes, there was a guy from Columbus, Mitch, who I chat with occasionally that I finally met in person for the first time. I chat because I have the podcast with him. Really nice dude, had his girlfriend with him, and we hung out during Mallory Run on Sunday. And I saw him. I think he was like standing by you during Say Anything, actually. Yeah. So yeah, I did run into random Andrew fans. And then I found out after the fact there were more there than I even realized that hit me up afterward. Be like, oh, you were there too? I was like, I was there.
There was one guy wearing like piano rock T-shirt for Andrew McMahon, and I kind of mouthed and pointed to you at one point, but I don't think you had any idea what the hell I was talking about because there was a band on and no one could hear anything. I know. I did get it, but yeah, I was like, oh, I could go give him a sticker, but I was real hesitant to bother people while they were watching a band though. And so I did that one time on the first day, and then I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Because there were several people with Soko shirts and Jack's shirts on.
Well, I told you about the woman that had the Something corporate shirt on, that we were talking about average age of concert goers for this particular show, day of shows. And Wingman Steve, can you guess the average age of this? Well, can you guess the age of this woman? What the age of this woman might have been that had the Something corporate shirt on? Is this
an average age person, or I didn't see the person. I don't know that I could.
One person doesn't have an average age, so you have to just guess an age.
If there's a person wearing a Something corporate shirt, I would estimate that they're probably about 40, in the vicinity of 40.
Yeah, good guess. It was a good guess, but this lady probably was in her mid-70s.
Wow. Okay.
And if she was younger than that, I apologize. Lady that I do not know, but that's an educated guess based on my evaluation. But it was interesting to see that, and me and Steve talked about that for a little bit.
Yeah, but, yeah. I said, I think that's a result of the cruises. Like he's been on a couple cruises, and retirees go on those cruises and they get really committed to some of the artists they see, and one of those is Andrew, along with a lot of other rock bands that you wouldn't really expect older people to be into.
Absolutely. It's funny how much we're talking about Andrew McMahon and he wasn't even there, but I brought it up, so it's my fault. But I figured we'd, like Steve said, we had a lot of experiences throughout the 2 days. Me and Steve from Something in the Wilderness podcast we were there for 2 days. Wingman Steve was there for one. And I figured that, we would take some time, talk about each band briefly, and also some other stories and stuff we want to share. So guys, where do you want to start?
Chris, I think you should set the stage and let anybody who didn't go to the show know, where was the show? What's the venue like? What was that? I think that you should start there.
Well, the first time I ever went to Fort Chord, about 4 years ago now, this is the venue that it was at. And the venue is actually a minor league baseball park. So just imagine an entire baseball park, probably obviously smaller than a major league park, but still pretty sizable, wide open for an entire concert for 2 days. And basically what you have to imagine is, the entire field that the ball players would be playing on is are tents, vendors, and then two huge stages with stuff surrounding it. So it was the perfect venue in a lot of ways. Number one, it was, in terms of space, Blink-182 aside, like even throwing that anomaly out the door, because we knew that was going to pack the place, you just have more space to walk around, do things, more space for vendors, more food vendors, more place for porta-johns. And also, the other cool thing, and Steve, Wingman Steve, appreciated this a ton. They had bleachers that weren't assigned to any tickets. So if you wanted to take a break and just go sit in the bleachers, you could do that. The other cool thing versus last year, guys, is now this wasn't as much the case on day one because there was absolutely nowhere to do this. But when it's less busy, you can actually sit down on the ground and not get dust or dirt all over your pants, because it is AstroTurf and it's, fairly okay to do that. So people on day two were just kind of sitting everywhere, and it didn't really matter. And it was cool to do that. But overall, like, I just love the venue. I think it's perfect for something like this. So let me throw that back at you, Wingman Steve, and then we'll get the other Steve. By the way, there were so many Steves per capita.
We had 4 Steves in our group of like 10 people.
That's crazy.
It was just so many Steves, but that's okay. So Wingman Steve, this was the first time that you were at this venue for this concert, or at all. I'd love to get your opinion.
Yeah, well, listen, I love baseball stadiums in general. I like shows. I thought this was a fantastic setup. First off, there's been some weather issues for Fort Chord music festivals in the past. I know Rishi wanted to knock on wood or not even bring it up, but these were 2 beautiful days. They were warm, but they weren't boiling hot. When the sun set, it was cool, but it wasn't freezing. There were places where you could get shade and chill out. I thought that, the stages being out in the outfield, there was a ton of open space. I didn't even get a chance to walk around the vendor village. I didn't look at the t-shirt. I didn't even get a minute. There was enough food that the food that I wanted to eat, I was able to get relatively quickly. And there were no breaks in between bands. There was only 5 minutes in between every band, which I would say we'll get to that. Some positives and some negatives to that aspect of it. But overall, I thought the venue was picturesque. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So, other Steve, you've been there multiple times already, but did you? What do you think about this venue versus where it was at last year?
Oh, I love this venue. I was really honestly disappointed when it was there last, even before I went to Carrie Furnace. Didn't know a thing about it, and I was like, oh, I really want to go back to Wild Things Park now EQT Park, just because, like you said, you put it very well, Chris. It's a great setup. I mean, it's wide open. You can get a lot of room to move, a lot of room to walk around. It's wide. Like, it doesn't feel like you're enclosed in anywhere, even when you're up watching the artist up close. So, and I'll just echo, great weather, perfect weather. Like, couldn't have really been better weather situation. I mean, it was hot, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, getting in and out, little bit of a pain, but anytime you're bringing thousands upon thousands of people into one singular space for a sporting event or a concert, I guess that's to be expected. But we were able to get in. Took a bit to get out, but we got out. And overall, I would say for me, it was a great day.
I can't be critical about much of anything. I overheard Rishi the day 2 when I got there. I overheard him talking to somebody about the overwhelming amount of negativity that was coming at him from people that had been there on day 1 about the logistics of different things.
People are gonna fucking bitch, but it was fine.
They'll find something.
I mean, I agree. Like, I agree with you. I don't understand. And I went up to him and I told him how much of a great time we had and how we felt. Everything was super smooth. And that wasn't just saying, obviously what I thought he wanted to hear. I really do believe that. I mean, hey, look, guys, it's a concert. Like, it's a huge concert. It's Blink-182. It's Jimmy Eat World. There's a bunch of big bands there. You have more people there than you ever have had at a four chord music fest. Of course, it's going to be hard to get out of that parking lot. Of course, you're going to wait. But who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know people are tired. I know that the average age of person there is not necessarily in their early 20s, but you got to relax. You got to understand that that's just the way it is. Enjoy the time. Talk to your buddies. If you're in the car by yourself like I was for 45 minutes and had no one to talk to, just listen to the radio or just sing or do something, right? Who cares? Be positive. The bathrooms were the other issue. I didn't really encounter anything that was that crazy with that. I think that was more Porta-John based than it was anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that if you were smart and you anticipated, now of course I didn't crush beers the whole day, so of course I didn't have to go every 5 minutes. But in terms of for my purposes, I didn't have any issues. So
I crushed beers all day. I had to go every 5 minutes. But you know what? I made it work. And you know what? If you really are concerned about getting out, you leave early. And if that's the choice that you make, I wouldn't hold it against you. That's your choice. I don't think any of us did that, but so we suffered the consequences. We waited to get out of the parking lot. It is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't really wait in a long line for a bathroom. I think I just got lucky the couple times I had to go. But like you put it, Chris, I didn't crush beers all day. So like I was kind of sweating out the couple beers I had and the water. I was drinking water pretty religiously all day. But I think I was just sweating it out because by the time it rolled like 6, 7 o'clock rolled around, I didn't go to the bathroom again until I got back to my hotel at like 1 a.m. So again, I think I just sweated it all out or something. So it worked out in my favor. The line was long for the porta potties, and it was kind of a weird setup, I will say. But if you went around to the actual bathrooms, which again, this venue has actual bathrooms, great setup, right? I mean, it's what a gig. So and the leaving, I sat in my car for an hour, but I didn't care. I just listened to music, and I was like, yeah, I'm good with this. I just saw Blink-182. I was just in awe still. So I kind of needed a moment anyway.
Yeah, it was a cool day though. We got a chance to hang out with some people, and you started the day, in the parking lot with a bunch of buddies. We got a chance to kind of hang out, talk, have a couple drinks, and so I did crush beers all morning. Let's be clear. Like, it just wasn't all day. I think it was
and Seagram's wine coolers.
Well, you know what? I was just being nice to you guys. I didn't want you to have to drink. I gave you my last pineapple beer. That actually is the last one that I have ever. Like, that one will never be made again.
There was an appreciative post made on your behalf. I hope you saw it.
Yeah. Did you like that beer, that pineapple beer?
Yes, I like pineapple and I like beer, and you put them together, and I'm a happy guy.
I was sad when that kind of went away, but the wine cooler that I had to drink was not good, ladies and gentlemen. It must have been frozen and then defrosted again and left in the refrigerator. It never was warm, but it was gross. Let's be honest. It was just gross. Don't drink wine
thank
coolers.
you for biting that bullet and giving us your real beers.
Your buddy stepped in crap, right?
Yes, my buddy started the day by stepping
Thanks
in.
for the picture. Wow.
Yeah, literally stepping in dog shit. We went to a covert area to pee-pee, and he walked through some dog shit. And then I guess what happened was he had an itch on his leg and scratched his leg with his foot, and that's when we realized he had dog shit all over his leg.
Like,
and
all
so
over the leg.
It was pretty yucky. And so we made some friends. We had some napkins, and then we went up to a group that were both male and female, and begged and pleaded for some hand sanitizer. I think he put some beer on his leg too. He sanitized.
That doesn't work.
It was a horrible idea.
It's just a waste of beer, is what it is.
I was like, dude, you're gonna smell like skank beer and dog shit now. Like,
should have used the Seagrams.
Yeah, that would have been a better scent. Anyways, some nice folks gave us some hand sanitizer, and he cleaned himself up, and then we were able to make our way in almost at the very beginning of the show, but we got there for the vast majority of it.
Any other anecdotal thoughts or anything before we get into like the flow or logistics of the actual performances and talk about the bands? Anything else surrounding four chord? Steve, you didn't get a chance to get to the vendors. I did. I was able to grab a shirt on day one. It was not a line. I didn't stand in line for the concert merch in day one because that line was probably like 700 people long the whole
that was
time.
long.
And so I waited till day two to get a couple shirts there. Day one, I got a Hot Mulligan shirt with a little problem. It's just about 10 people in line. So they had a nice selection. There was some cool Blink shirts, really cool Bowling for Soup stuff, and some other stuff too that, again, you got to pick and choose because you can't just buy everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that, and yeah, I didn't really get into any of the look. I mean, they have those other vendors that they have there every single year. Yeah, take it or leave it. It's not for me, but it seemed like everywhere is pretty busy. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, and Carrie Furnace, someone tried to get me to like switch my electric company. Nobody was hassling me this time around, and I didn't sample too much of the food. I ate the pizza like several times, and it was actually pretty good pizza for a ballpark in the middle of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, mine was gross. Mine was like, it wasn't cooked on the bottom.
Ooh. It was not a New York style, well done crust by any means. But
it was not done at all. Not undone.
In the state of mind I was in, it was fucking delicious. And I had
of course,
one too many slices of pizza.
Yeah. They had good noodles too.
I had a crunch wrap from I was trying to look it up. I don't think I'll find it, but I had a crunch wrap from a great food truck, and I wanted to shout them out because, man, it was so good. It was a better quality. I'll just say it was better quality food than I expected out of a food truck at a music festival.
Was it Taco Bell?
It was not, but it sounds like it was, being that as a crunch wrap. But that's some trendy name for it or something, some hip name for it. But yeah, it was their own version of the crunch wrap. I don't remember what the place was called. I can't find the receipt on my phone, but it was good and had tofu in it, and I eat tofu, so that was perfect for me. And I was glad to have options, actually, some good options to eat. And all I did was drink water all day. Like I said, drank a couple beers early on, and then had that crunch wrap about 7:00 on Saturday. And I actually didn't eat anything on Sunday, weirdly, at the whole park. I don't know how I made it to the end of the night. And then I ate a lot. I had some food in the car, and I ate on the way home.
There you go. Speaking of water, guys, so have you ever seen like you've been to football games and stadiums and baseball games and that sort of thing, and you've been into the public bathroom that they have there. You know how sometimes there's like a trail of water that's coming from the bathroom that's on the ground? Like sometimes it's leaking out of the bathroom on the ground. If you collected a bunch of that and you put it inside the water fountain that was at this park, that's what the taste was of this water that you were drinking. It tasted like warm, sour water.
Oh, I disagree. I didn't think it was a problem.
It made me ill right away. Oh. Like, I think that's what did me in, is that water. Ooh. And if you just buy an Aquafina for $5, you have no idea how delicious that tastes after drinking that water. I've never enjoyed water so much. I could have drank 1,000 of them that day. It just was so good. You have no idea. I was so excited about that. Can you believe it?
I can't.
I only drank the Aquafinas. I probably bought 3 or 4 of them. I was just like, when I want water, because you had to also fill it. Like, it wasn't one of those things where you put your bottle underneath and it like jets in, those like eco-friendly ones. It was literally like an old school water fountain that you had to press the little button and then like, angle your bottle. And I was like, I don't have the fucking time to do this. I'm trying to see music. So I just sucked up the
I didn't
$5.
mind. I didn't find a problem with it at all. I filled it up probably 10 times over 2 days, maybe more. And I just filled it up and went on my way. Like, I had this little water bottle, probably like a 16-ouncer. And fit in my pocket.
You got a belly full of storm drain water over there, dude.
I'm still okay. I'm still standing.
As far as you know. Are you able to still walk? Do you find that walking is difficult right now?
So far.
I've
done a lot of walking.
Are you off balance a lot? Okay, good. I worry about you. I don't want you to be in any kind of.
I made it to work today. I didn't make it yesterday, but I made it to work today.
So let's move things forward here, and let's talk about the show. So Steve, you want to just and I want you to talk about this before we get into the bands. You mentioned something about the in between, and it sounded like you weren't so happy about that.
No, I see the positives and the negatives. So the positives is that you don't have to wait and there's not like the downtime. It's constant music. You never miss anybody because only one band is playing it one single time. You know, there were periods of time where I didn't want to miss some of the music. So it doesn't really give you any time to navigate the real life situation of needing a water or a beer or a food or going to the bathroom. So you kind of had to really pick and choose your points because there wasn't a break in between bands. So I'm not upset about it. I think it's fine. I'd probably rather have more bands and more music and have to deal with it. But it was something where I was, but there were a couple of stretches where there was, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, like, each one of those things that I just mentioned also had a line, right? The bathroom, even if it wasn't a long line at some times, like there was a line. The beer, whatever beer you wanted, you probably there was a line. The food, there was a line. So I would have liked a little bit of, negative time to get those things done, but it was all good.
Yeah, that was unique to day one, though. I mean, because I'll tell you what, every other day of every other year, it's never a problem.
Right.
Never. You get in and out of anywhere you need to get to, and it's not a problem at all. So it was unique to Blink 182.
Yeah.
You might not
problem.
see that there again like that unless they have another big band of that caliber or they bring them back. So
I've seen different numbers. So Chris, you said you thought it was like 9,000 on Saturday for Blink. And then I read on Reddit, someone said 15,000. I'm like, well, that's quite a different number.
I mean, that was coming from my brother talked to somebody that was part of, put into like on the committee of some way, shape or form and a committee of something. And they gave him that number. And I mean, it was a rough estimate, but it definitely wasn't 15. So,
yeah. But, in comparison, if you think about a Blink 182 show, you go to one of their arena or amphitheater shows, it's way more than that. So I felt pretty fortunate to go into any venue and with that size crowd and being able to see Blink 182. I felt pretty good about that. I felt like I got a value out of that.
Oh, 1,000%. And I honestly, when I bought my tickets, I bought them the second it went on sale. I was the first person to buy tickets. I will stand behind that, even though Steve will argue me on that one. But I will tell you that I was really afraid that this was going to sell out instantly. It didn't. I was surprised. I mean, I know it's a different thing. Like people have to commit what they want to commit for a whole day of music, and you don't have to be there the whole day, but you're paying for it. So maybe that turns some people off. I don't know. But the fact that it didn't sell out right away and there were tickets available for a while, it was really surprising. It really was.
They went to low ticket warning. I don't know if that's a marketing ploy or if that's a legitimate low ticket warning, but I also was surprised it did not sell out. I'd never been there, so I didn't know the capacity or anything like that. I will say, I don't know how many more people they could have stuffed in that fucking place. Like by the time night fell, and we'll get to there, it was packed. It was packed.
Still think we should have had High School Never Ends podcast as a part of this show.
Well, we just met Rishi this year, so we'll see what's in store for years to come.
I mean, literally, these guys would walk around with a microphone saying Mark, Tom, or Travis to people. You mean we couldn't come up with something better than that? Come on, man.
I saw. I don't know that I want to work at a festival like this. I wouldn't want to have to do all that stuff.
Come on,
I just want to do my own thing.
One time. Yeah. You don't want to do that one time?
No, I'm just telling you right now. No, I don't. I want to enjoy myself.
I could agree with that sentiment. I was asked by several people, including Andrew McMahon himself, when I went on his cruise last year, hey, are you recording a show, an episode? And I was like, no, I'm not.
Okay, well, I want to, so I'll just pick another Steve then. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, just pick one out.
I'll just pretend it's you.
That's fine.
You stop. You can't make that decision right now. We'll talk about it later. But
I can tell you what I want to do. I'm talking about this year.
You've already made it's it. You made it clear. Like you're not doing.
It's in the past. No, this past.
In the future. In the future.
I don't know what the future holds.
Oh my God. Like
let's get into the show here. We got a lot of bands to get through.
Oh God. All right. Boy in Blue Stripes. I didn't see them, but we didn't get in there soon enough to see them. I know that you talked to the dude that was in the band. When we went to go see Calling All Captains.
Yeah.
And my brother knows the drummer. He used to be in a band with him. So I think we might have heard them from afar, but I really don't have much to say. Steve, did you see this band?
I didn't. I was like you. I was actually in line while they were playing or in the parking lot for part of it. I was trying to get in, and the line was kind of long. Again, like we've already covered, the line was kind of long to get in on that day, particularly, but it actually wasn't that bad. I just didn't plan well enough to see them, so I was okay with it. I didn't know any of their music. I'm sure they're great, but
Yep. I know that the plan was to get in to see Keep Flying. I think we got in there to see some of that, and if not most of it. So, any comments on Keep Flying that you guys have? I'm not sure I do.
I was quite adamant that I wanted to see Keep Flying. They were on our show. I saw them in Philadelphia like a month or two ago, and they're just a fucking great time live. Like they're all over the stage. They have catchy jams. I love that John plays the saxophone. It's kind of a cool thing, and when he's not, he's doing that unclean, screamy vocals thing, and they mix it with some pop punk and some ska influences. I thought that they did a great job warming up the crowd, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're not playing for a packed crowd at 1:30 p.m. You're playing for the people the diehards that want to be there early, and I think they did a good job with that.
Although I'll tell you what, when you compare day one with day two at the beginning, it's much more packed early versus day two or any other day that I've seen. So these guys that were opening bands at the 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, generally when they would probably have a couple hundred people watching them, there was a lot more than that, I think, at that point in time watching these bands. So they lucked out being on this day, because I think there's a lot of people that did come early. Yes, it did fill in a little bit later, even more, but they definitely got their money's worth with day one on Saturday. I don't have anything more to say. I think Steve said it all and Keep Flying, unless Steve, you had something to add.
Yeah, I enjoy Keep Flying. In fact, I saw them live in April or May in Detroit. I went to see Nerf Herder, and they were there were 3 opening bands. They were one of them, and I knew they were going to be at 4 Chord, so that was kind of a neat segue for me between 4 Chords, because I think I saw them last year at 4 Chord, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
They did,
and they're great. I love the horns. Both my daughters play trombone, so I definitely had to send them some pictures and videos of. I said to my 12-year-old, I was like, "Look, you can be in a punk band when you get older," and she just kind of like rolled her eyes at me. Yeah, like no. But I really enjoy them. You're right. Great energy. Great for the crowd. I think there are some people in the area. I don't know. Are those guys local to Pittsburgh?
Keep Flying is from New York, but they are
okay.
They're very familiar with Pittsburgh. They play a lot in Pittsburgh.
Gotcha. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people knew them. So I was impressed with the energy that they brought and that they were getting from the crowd.
Yeah, they have a ton of connections in the music world too. Like I met John, who's the sax player. I met him. He was doing the merch table for Wheatus, and I mean he knows everybody in the industry. He's everywhere.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Cool. The next band was Patent Pending, and they're there every year. I don't think that was a year that they weren't there. They pretty much put on the same show, which is fine. I think they have some really cool songs. I've heard them before, and I think the Super Mario song is the one. I don't know the name of it, but I think that's the one that they kind of hang their hat on. But look, it's the same thing. Like the guy is kind of quirky. He has that energy that he brings every single year. This was no different. I don't think that this presentation or this performance was different than anything else I've seen in past years, but it was cool that they kind of just kept it going. So that's my take on Patent Pending. So I don't know if you guys have a different take.
Yeah, Patent Pending is they're solid, man. They're a fun pop punk band. It's basically like Bowling for Soup light. And I've actually seen Patent Pending with Bowling for Soup, and Rob Felicetti used to be in Patent Pending, is now in Bowling for Soup. So if you like that kind of, fun pop punk, don't take yourself too seriously kind of thing, even though they have a couple of serious songs, most of them are not. They are a whole lot of fun. I have a Patent Pending shirt from like, I don't know, 2008 or something. It says "Dude, I'm Not Your Bro" because they have this song called "Douchebag." They closed their set with it, and "Dude, I'm Not Your Bro" is kind of like the anthem that they sing. I didn't wear that shirt to this festival, but I've always liked them. They're not like a favorite band, but I certainly would make sure that I am in the crowd to see them if I'm here, which I did.
I mean, it's a 7-song set, so I mean, it's just enough. I think that's just enough.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Mario. Hey Mario was the song I was talking about. So,
Steve, you have anything else on Patent Pending?
Yeah, just two quick things. One, two very distinct memories of that set. One is that the lead singer was very emotional, and he shared that several times, which was cool. I liked it. I liked to hear that. He was very honest, very emotional. Like, he can't believe that he's here. Like, on a day when Blink 182 is playing is a big deal. His buddy Rishi is organizing this awesome festival. He's there with his buddies. The other thing is, I heard punk rock songs earlier this year. Somebody played it on I play Music League, and somebody played it on Music League playlist. And I was like, why does that song sound familiar? And I realized I probably heard it last year at Four Chord. I like it. It's a fun, like, it's kind of a guilty pleasure type of song. It's very poppy, but it's very catchy. Kind of reminds me of like what I've heard you guys on the show refer to as like bubblegum pop punk. Like, it's like it's very fun. And it's, again, guilty pleasure, but it's a great for a crowd, and it's great to warm up a crowd on a Saturday afternoon. So I loved it.
Cool. Yeah, Charlie Bliss, I kind of have very little to say. I really wasn't paying attention, and I'm sure they're fine. I know that probably Wingman Steve is going to have a ton of great things to say because he loves he loves that type of band. We had that conversation.
What type of band is that?
That type of band.
Female-fronted band? Listen, there's not too many female-fronted bands on the Four-chord slate here.
I mean, you love them all. I don't really...
Well, I love Lolo. That's
I have nothing... And this front, I actually think this girl is better than Lolo. I mean, if you're listening, Lolo, which I know you're not, I'm sorry.
She's not one of our 10 Patreons, so...
She was better than you, and I'm going to stick behind that. In my, when you think about my taste, like, I think she was better, but that's it. I've never seen Lolo, so I'm basing that just off of complete bias. But look, I mean, I think it was fine background music, and they did Len Steal My Sunshine, so I mean, that was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty much the highlight. Len, they covered Len Steal My Sunshine. I took a little video of that one, shared it on the social. And she was super lead singer. I don't know if her name is Charlie Bliss. She kept saying we, so I assume that's
I think the band is
name.
Charlie Bliss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. She was super into it. She was rocking out. I thought they were good. I didn't know the music, so I wasn't too enthralled. But I thought it was pretty cool to see them.
It's a very special type of band when you don't know the music at all, when you actually get into it. So the fact that it's hard, right, when you don't know any songs to really connect. But go ahead, Steve.
And that's why it's good for a band like that to play a cover at a festival where they're just trying to gain some new fans. I'm not saying they all need to do that. I'm not saying that's the move, but
it's a good move.
But some of them do it, and I get that. I don't know. I love the song "Steal My Sunshine" by Len. I just didn't know if it was the right fit for them. And she even said it's like hard to remember the lyrics, and I think she did a good job with it. They did. They played it well, but I don't know. I liked them better leading into it. I always study up on the bands at festivals, and I listen to
them
it
on the way in.
Yeah, and they're really good on streaming. They sound great. I didn't for some reason connect as well, but I was probably a little distracted, just kind of socializing and things like that, and that's probably my fault. But I just didn't gain as much from their performance as I thought I would. So
I will say that the lead singer, whatever her name is, especially during that "Steal My Sunshine" song, really reminded me of Renee Zellweger from Empire Records. Like, just all of her like moves, she was kind of like flailing her arms like Renee Zellweger does on the roof at Empire Records. I was like, wow, this is her from.
I know
that
exactly
movie.
what you're talking about. Yes, yeah, I agree.
So then we had Eternal Boy, and look, I mean, I've seen them now, every year, right? They've been there every year. It makes sense. Rishi, that's his band, and they're pretty much in the same spot every year, right around this point in time, which is a cool spot to be in. They were solid again. Like, they put on a good show. I think that there was a ton of crowd energy when Rishi's out there. Everybody's thankful for everything that he does to put this together. And there's a lot of support for the band, for sure, for the people that were there. So, all in all, it was just, once again, it was a good set. He did his cover again of Taylor Swift, that song, "We're never ever getting back together." Gets a pop. So, that's fun. But, very solid other stuff. Very blinkish in theme. But hey, I love that stuff, so I'd never turn it down.
Good, Steve. What do you think? Anything from Eternal Boy?
Yeah, just a little bit different from Charlie Bliss in that I also liked getting to know Eternal Boy leading up to the show. Again, I'd seen them last year, probably the year before as well. But I actually really enjoyed that set. But I had to go to the bathroom, and I walked away. And as I'm walking away, I hear them start that Taylor Swift song. I was like, damn it. Like, my family's all Swifties. Like, it would have been cool to at least get a clip of them doing that song for the kids. And I think they did it last year, and I probably got a clip back then. But that would have been kind of cool because I actually do know that song. So, but they sounded great in the originals as well.
Yeah, I think there was, if I remember correctly from the previous year, I feel like maybe there was a little less of the kind of silly banter. I think they really leaned into it the previous year at Carrie Furnace. Maybe that's because he knows that, Blink-182 is there and that's kind of their thing, but they put on a solid show. And again, he was very thankful. And, I was thinking about Rishi like the whole day. And I hope everything just goes well for him. And this goes off without a hitch, because he's been trying to get Blink on for so many years and it's finally happened. So I thought they did a great set and I thoroughly enjoyed it. No peeing during that one.
Did you see the Easter egg in his performance?
I think I saw it on social media, but remind me what it was.
Well, the Easter egg was he was wearing a San Diego Padres hat.
Didn't I say that to you? I think I did.
Somebody did. But
I said that to
Easter
you.
egg.
I just forgot it.
Yes, Steve, you win the day.
Is that a Blink reference? Is that what that?
I said. Yes, I think I turned to Chris and I go, "Do you think that Rishi wore that hat just so that he has a talking point if he bumps into Tom DeLonge?"
And the answer is yes. The answer to that
is always yes, and it's a smart thing to do. So good for you, Rishi. I would have done the same thing.
All right. So after Eternal Boy, I think we had. No, it was Homegrown. Dude, this was
Homegrown.
This was a hell of a little period. Homegrown drew a mid-afternoon set. It was at 3:50. They got the same 30 minutes that everybody did, but honestly, I feel like, I don't know, there was so much energy to them because they don't play a lot of shows. And again, just from speaking to Rishi, I know he was so excited to have them in that kind of throwback spot in his lineup here. And I mean, they killed it. I hunted down Johnny Tran because I saw him while I was in line for a beer, took a quick picture with him. And I don't know, I saw them like a couple months ago, but they just fucking kill it, dude. They're so good live.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely do. And I was really hoping they would be, because the couple of my buddies, there were actually all of the people that were friends of mine, obviously not including Steve, your people, and you, Steve, as well. My buddy, other Steve, Josh, Justin, they don't know who this is. They've never heard of this band before. So I was excited to be able to get them in front of it. I don't know if it really blew them away. Like, I really think you have to have some nostalgia with Homegrown in order to really appreciate it, because it is that late 90s, pop punk type of sound that, not every song. I don't think every song is an earworm if you don't have any nostalgia with it. But there's still there's some songs that definitely are that.
Well, the Adam songs.
What's that?
The Adam songs.
I'm a Johnny Tran guy.
Really?
Yeah.
The other Steve was talking to me about how much better all the Adam songs are.
I kept going up to Stu and telling him how much better Johnny Tran songs were.
That's right. I was goading you. I was like, go say that to Steve Kelly. I'm like, please go say that to him.
I really wanted to aggravate. I only wanted to troll Stu, not Steve Kelly. So,
Stu didn't really care that much. Steve would have gotten into it, though.
He did. No, Steve would have. Although you can't really talk to somebody over music. I tell you that much. That's one thing about this concert.
It's
hard to have a conversation because the music was always going. So you had to kind of just listen or shut up.
Plugs in too.
Yeah, I don't wear earplugs, but I think my hearing's already shot, so it's too late. I'm good. I have natural earplugs. It means hearing loss. That's my earplugs.
I have those eargasm music ear things.
Yeah. Here's a tip. It doesn't matter. You're old and your hearing is what it is. So
Yeah, I may have made a bad decision. I too am on the earplug train the last 5 years or so. But you know what? When Blink came out, I took those fuckers out. I was like, no, I got to hear it all.
You got to absorb the whole thing. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
I don't do that a lot much lately in the last 5 years or so. There's a couple of shows I have. It's like I'm not hearing the vocals like I want to. Pull them out. I'm like, okay, I hear the vocals better now.
So
maybe I need better ones.
Before we move on, are you guys happy with the mix, the homegrown setlist mix? Did you think it was what you wanted? It says here, so they did "I'll Never Fall in Love," "I Love You Not," "Tomorrow," "Second Best," "Give It Up," "Surfer Girl," "Kiss Me, Diss Me," and "You're Not Alone."
Yeah, man.
That's a pretty solid run.
In a 30-minute set, that's all they can do. Like, I saw them headline, and they went into a little bit more of the older stuff. I figured that they would do Surfer Girl. I thought, we actually had this discussion in the car on the way there. What songs do you think they might play not on Kings of Pop? And I knew that I said Surfer Girl for sure. I said the only other chance would maybe be Nowhere Slow. But yeah, this was the set that they should do 100%, because Kings of Pop was their big hit, and they basically played all the big songs off of that.
So looking at Setlist FM, out of 8 songs, 7 of them were from Kings of Pop.
Yeah, and Surfer Girl was from
okay, interesting.
Act Your Age, or no?
We're looking at the same thing. There. We're both on Setlist FM.
Well, let me tell you when I started listening to Homegrown. When did you guys do the episode about Kings of Pop?
It's like 2 years ago, at least, maybe 3.
Okay, that's when I started listening to Homegrown because of you guys.
Nice. Okay.
Because it was talked up so much on the episode. I was like, okay, I got to hear this album now.
You're welcome.
And it is good. It's good. I like it.
Good for you.
I was one of those that I'm surprised I missed, actually. So I enjoyed them.
It's a big one. So, and it's really cool. I don't think I've seen Homegrown live. I think that might be the first time.
Definitely my first.
I was excited about that. Now I don't know if this is out of order. I think it got a little wonky based on what the original set list that was published said. I think there was a couple bands that were out of order. Now Setlist FM has Driveways next. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. For some reason, I don't remember Driveways at all. It was
Driveways, Knuckle Puck, Set Your Goals.
Well, that's what Setlist FM has. And again, I think it was different in the arrangement that they had posted.
It was different on the flyer, but in their like set times thing, that's how it was.
Yeah, I'm looking at the set times, and they're definitely next.
Okay, so Driveways, I don't remember that one. I don't remember it for some reason. I don't know if I walked away or if there was a reason for that, but
I think I was standing with you guys during that.
I don't remember it.
I don't think so. This was the point in the festival. So Driveways went on at 4:25. You know, we got there probably 1:30, something like that. This was definitely the time in the set list in the show where I was like, it's time to like take care of some business. I needed to eat something. I probably needed a refresh on my beer and water. Needed to hit the restrooms, and I think it was Mike DeMonte is really talked up Driveways as a great band. So I listened to them from afar, but I don't have any. Honestly, for the next like 3 bands, I was like, all right, I need to kind of take a break and save a little bit of energy, and that's kind of what I did.
I'd like to go back and check these guys out. I look at they had a short set. It was only the 7, and they have songs like "Ghost of a Smile," "Are You Afraid of the Dark," which I love that, and "October Forever." Very Halloween in theme. But Steve, did you watch this band?
I did. I watched the whole set, and a couple of things. So it's funny you said that, Steve, because Mike DeMonte is the only name I think of when I think of Driveways.
Okay, so
I know he's a friend of your podcast. He's been on a couple times. He's been on Something in Wilderness as well, talking about If You See Jordan a year ago, and he talked them up to me. He was like, "You have to see Driveways." And then when I think I posted that I got a 4-chord ticket back in the spring, he chatted me. He was like, "You have to see Driveways." I was like, "All right, I'll go see Driveways," based on that recommendation. And I do like their music. Again, it's one of those that I like on streaming. There was a little too much screaming for me. I'm a little bit, easy on the screaming, for better or for worse. And the drummer has a great screamy vocal, but it's just that's not for me. I really like when the lead singer sings. And I also really like that the lead singer is a teacher. And that's cool. He was just like, I started teaching. I went back to school this week, and I'm here playing a show on a Saturday. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Lead that double life.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back and listen to these guys again. So it's my style of music, and I kind of remember in periphery listening and maybe thinking like, wow, okay, they're pretty good, but I definitely didn't pay as much attention as I should have. And that I did go back and watch Knuckle Puck front to back, and I admittedly, like, I know everybody that I never should say everybody. There are a lot of people that appreciate this band in a lot of ways. I don't know if I am one of them right now. So I think they're fine, but I didn't love what I heard. I thought it was fine. I don't know. I wasn't blown away.
I couldn't comment. I was in other mode. I was getting food, chilling out, so I did not pay too much attention to Knuckle Puck. I think that was like a rest break.
Did we miss out, Steve?
I couldn't tell you, so I'm going to echo your sentiments a little bit. I got a question for you guys about the next, and I know I don't mean to jump ahead, and I'm not going to, but in general, the next 3 bands we're looking at, including Knuckle Puck on that stage, does that feel like the new generation of pop punk? Is that what that is?
I'm sure that was, yeah. Rishi's a smart guy, so I think yes, he probably took that into account. But so you're talking about State Champs and Knuckle Puck and Hot Mulligan.
Yeah,
I mean that does make a lot of sense.
I just didn't keep up with what was going on in that genre of music, and probably what I'm going, and I might be wrong on my time frame, but in the 20 teens probably is when those guys hit it big or sort of hit or what, I don't know. So I don't know their music, but I like what I've heard from all of them. I've just never dug in really deep. And so this is the point where I kind of stuck to the Biggie's Bully stage, the left side. And I watched those 3 artists that you just named from afar. So like I basically saw them from a distance, but I still heard them. So
yeah, I'm gonna disagree a lot with that. I mean, that's just what I like. Like I think Knuckle Puck is the exception to that, but the everything else that you mentioned, I'm all in on, and it doesn't include Set Your Goals either. Like now that I'm thinking back, like I remember Knuckle Puck. I think it bobbed my head a couple times. Like it was decent. Set Your Goals. I'm not remembering that set either, and I think maybe that was more of me just getting ready because I knew after Set Your Goals was on that there was going to be 5 bands in a row that I wanted to see. 5 bands in a row, and I knew that was going to be a marathon, and I knew I was not going to sit down, and I would not sit down. There was nothing that was going to get me to sit down. So I think maybe what I did is sat down for Set Your Goals in anticipation of the next run.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to meet somewhere at some point. You were like, meet at the pitcher's mound, and then you're like, I'm sitting down. It must have been during this band.
It was really that was something we didn't bring up at the beginning. It was very challenging to meet somebody because the problem is
we had a group of 10 to 12 people. Like
moved, you guys moved. You wouldn't stay still either. Come on, Steve. Let's be honest.
No way.
You guys would not wait for us, and we tried to catch up with you, but you were on the move all the time. And then when you finally weren't on the move anymore, we were in the crowd, and it was too late. So I'm not blaming you. I'm just stating facts.
I think both of us were doing the same thing because everybody's got, if people want to, again, get a beverage, get a food, hit the restroom.
Well, but
these things are tough
like,
to coordinate with like 10 or 12 people.
Meet us on the pitcher's mound. And you were like, no, meet us on the strip. I'm like, no, the pitcher's mound. And you're like,
dude,
no,
I was at the pitcher's mound waiting for you.
I didn't know that.
And then you weren't there.
Oh, you know what the other problem was that you could not text anybody.
Oh,
no.
Dude,
all
that
of
was
my text messages
horrible.
wouldn't.
Which I learned at 1:30 in the morning, by the way, when Steve responded to my text from 7 p.m.
So I didn't know when that came in. It was absolutely insane.
Before Bowling for Soup.
The service just wouldn't work.
I think that was the problem, is that we could not keep up with each other because we could not get communication in real time to each other. So it was impossible to be able to find each other. And I think we all just gave up. But anyway, Set Your Goals. I have nothing to say because I don't remember. So if you guys out there like Set Your Goals, I'm sorry I didn't see them or don't remember them. I hope they were amazing for those of you that like that band.
But now it's go time. After,
it really is.
Again, I decided to. I decided, consciously to take a little chill break at a point in time. I sacrificed being up there and seeing certain bands, but like when State Champs was on, like for me, that was fucking go time.
Mm-hmm. It was go time. Man. Oh man. Was State Champs just they were just amazing guys. Like they just killed it. They killed
Slay
from front to back. Like there's you talk about energy. This band has it all. You talk about earworm melodies. This band has it. You talk about vocalists that just crush it. He commands the stage. That voice is just so unique and amazing. Like there's musically, you don't want to listen. You don't want to listen to any, like you can't. You don't. I almost said look away. That's not the right verbiage to use. You don't get distracted because everything you hear is just front and center. Guys, I love State Champs, and I look at the set list. It was 10 songs. I could have listened to a lot more, but they just crushed it from front to back. There were a couple songs I didn't know as much because I think there might have been I know most of the State Champs stuff, but I don't know all of it. So they did mix in a couple things I wasn't aware of. But the last few songs, they crushed it. First few crushed, a couple in the middle, and even the ones I didn't know I loved. So, man, this was such a good performance, and I'd be curious to see if you guys felt otherwise.
I don't feel anything otherwise. In the very beginning of their set, like his mic wasn't working, but he just kept fucking going. He's like, I'm just going to keep singing until this mic goes on. And eventually it did. And man, you're right. I'm kind of the same way. There's maybe one or possibly two albums of theirs that I don't know, but everything that I do know is just like fucking banger after banger. Like I'll just... What's remembered in my head is Everybody But You is just such a killer song. I'm just jumping up and down. We've been there for hours at this point. There have been lots of beers, maybe some gummies that have been consumed, and I'm just feeling fantastic. Everybody But You just hits so hard. And then when Secrets popped out to finish up that set, that was so good. That song is amazing. I love State Champs. They killed it.
So I just want to add that I like everything I've ever heard by State Champs, but I couldn't identify a single of one of their songs by name, and that's not a dig at them whatsoever. I like what I've heard. Every time a song of theirs comes on streaming, like whether it's on a playlist or like the algorithm's just feeding me something, I enjoy it. But I felt like I had to make a decision at that point, and my decision was to kind of get my spot, kind of like post up, as I called it. I don't do barricade. I'm not like big on the barricade, but like I posted up basically center crowd to get ready for the next three bands on the other stage. And that's the reason I missed State Champs. And I am regretting that a little bit right now. Like that sounded amazing.
Yep, State Champs rocked.
You got it. So this is your homework, Steve, is to go listen to more State Champs. That's your homework. Yeah. From now until next year. We're assigning that to you. So that is something that we'll be expecting a 5-page essay on your experiences with that. All right, don't use ChatGPT either. We'll know. So
yeah, you can search that now.
Wingman, why don't you intro this one in, because I absolutely did not miss Bowling for Soup, but I was not front and center for this one. I had to move a little bit, so I wasn't fully invested in this one maybe as much as you were. So talk about it.
Yeah, this was the last band that I was legitimately front and center for. Certainly did not want to miss their set. I just feel like, our show is named after High School Never Ends, which they played, which was fantastic. Mm-hmm. The thing is, for me, like I literally saw this exact set like 2 weeks ago. I saw them open for Simple Plan. And so I saw this exact set. So this was not something that was a surprise to me. I knew exactly what I was going to get. I was actually kind of hoping that they were going to play Asshole with John James Ryan from Keep Flying on sax, because they released that on like a live track. It's on Spotify. They have a live album coming out. So I was kind of hoping for that. That didn't happen. But when you look at the set list that they did, first off, their banter is great. They sound a little bit worse than they used to because they used to be a 4-piece. The one guy left the band, a real big guy, and now they're a 3-piece. So they're like they're not as tight musically, but they still are awesome. And they played like the perfect festival set list. Girl, All the Bad Guys Want, High School Never Ends, Ohio Come Back to Texas, Today Is Gonna Be a Great Day, Almost, Punk Rock 101, Turbulence. They threw a ballad in there. Maybe I would have swapped that out, but that's okay. He kind of referenced things that are going on in the world at the moment, and there's just a little turbulence, so that was fine. They did a cover of Stacy's Mom, and then they closed with 1985. So, I mean, they get on stage and they say, we are the greatest band in the world. And they actually, they shouted out to Blink-182. So did State Champs. And so one thing at this point in the concert that I feel like was missing from the two headliners is that at this point in the show, there is still super appreciation for Four Chord Music Festival. I am here in Pittsburgh. I am here at Four Chord. It's 11 years in history. Rishi Ball created this whole thing. These guys were thanking them. Everyone was praising Blink-182. Nobody could believe Blink-182 is going to be on the same stage. And I'll get to that, maybe a slight little bit of beef later. But Bowling for Soup put on a great show, and a 35-minute set, they killed it.
Just to preempt your beef, you're incorrect, but we'll talk about that.
You didn't even know my beef yet.
I know your beef.
Yeah,
I know your beef.
I enjoy Bowling for Soup probably better live even than on the album, because of that banter, because of the entertainment factor, because they're just good at their craft. They're just good at getting up and entertaining people. And that's what they do. They've been doing for 30 freaking years. I don't even know. They're really good.
By the way, Setlist FM is wrong. They definitely played Phineas and Ferb too. That's not on there.
It's called, they do have that. It's called Today Is Going to Be a Good Day.
Oh, that's the name of that song? Oh, I thought that was...
I guess that's what I'm getting from Setlist FM.
But they also say that 1985 is that an SR-71 cover? Like, it's not.
It is technically was originally.
Yeah,
really,
it's a cover.
Yeah, they.
Wow, nobody knows that. I bet
those guys gave it to Bowling for Soup.
Unbelievable.
They recorded it first. It's if you look up SR-71, that song is available.
Ask 10 people and see how many of those 10 know that. I bet you 9 of them do not.
Probably.
I think I learned that from Krista Makes a Podcast, if I'm being honest. I'm pretty sure that was...
You're knee deep in this music scene. I'm
I do listen to a lot of music podcasts. We talked about that on Sunday. He's like, how do you get the time to listen to all these music podcasts? I don't know. I when I'm driving, I guess.
You just do.
Yeah. I agree Turbulence was a little bit of an odd choice, but I don't know. I kind of get that they needed to break it up a little bit. It was a lot of songs that have like the... heavy guitars and the fast, and the goofy lyrics. And it was like kind of like a level set of like, okay, we're going to mix it up a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
Asshole in there.
They might have fit better. I don't know. But it was a little bit of an odd choice because everything else was what I would call a hit of theirs. Whereas Turbulence, I'm surprised to see it was off of one of their older albums. I assumed it was like a new song or something, actually. But
Not only that, but Jared Reddick is a huge Steelers fan, and he didn't even really pander to the crowd about it. He didn't make a big deal about it.
Interesting.
He went to the Steelers game the next day.
He did, and that was awesome to see. It's just Jared's a guy that's super entertaining no matter what. Like you said, we had him on the show. He was just amazing to talk to. Like it was such a fun conversation talking to the guy. And, that translates to any of his performances. So, again, even though I may have stepped away for a minute to go get a drink or use the restroom, I came back. I saw an amazing set for what I saw, and I was happy I did. I don't think I've seen Bowling for Soup live yet, so that might have been a first for me.
Nice. Yeah.
So, a lot of first. And
it was
another
only
first.
it was that I've only ever seen them on the Rock Boat, so I saw them twice in the Rock Boat. That was my third time technically seeing them, but I've only ever seen them at a festival. I've never actually gone to a headliner set of theirs, if you will.
Got it. And another first for me, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but the first time, and for me, the most anticipated outside of Blink-182, of course, band that I wanted to see this time around was Hot Mulligan. It's funny because once again, Setlist FM, they show the attendees that went down significantly from Bowling for Soup to Hot Mulligan. I don't know if that's true, I just thought there was a sea of people there watching this band. They shredded. They just killed it. Like we talked about state champs. I felt the same for Hot Mulligan, if not more. It's got to be one of my favorite bands right now, just because of the way that they write music, their creative, way that they come to, not just song titles, but just the way that they craft the lyrics, the music, the way the lead singer sings is so unique and different. And stage present wise, their stage presence was awesome too. Like they're very not assuming. And I love the way that the guy was like, "Hey everybody, you good out there?" Like I thought it was so good the way that he addressed the crowd. I wish I would have bought the state champs #1 jersey, but I don't know. It just didn't feel like I was going to be able to pull that off personally. But guys, I can't say enough good things about Hot Mulligan and the set list that they chose. It was perfect for me. I mean, they played all the ones that I can sing verbatim, word for word. They played some other stuff. They played some new stuff, some older stuff. The one thing that my buddy wanted to hear was the Shoes Off in the Coffee Shop song. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not really that sad about it because that's not necessarily one of my favorites anyway. So, what about you guys? Hot Mulligan.
Steve, go ahead.
Well, I don't have too much to say because I watched them from a distance. So again, I was kind of, I don't want to say stuck in the crowd, but I'd already found my place in the crowd for the last three on the other stage. So after Bowling for Soup, we just waited there. But what I really enjoyed, and I did want to point out, I think this is a good place to bring this up, is that I appreciated the screens on the left side stage. They weren't on the right side stage. But when Hot Mulligan was playing, for example, I could watch them on the screens. I could also see them pretty well from my vantage point in the crowd waiting for Jimmy Eat World. Had a decent view, but I had the screens in front of me, and the sound was great from over there. So I technically saw them while I was waiting for the other band, which was nice. I like that. Just like state champs, I don't really know their music, but they sounded good. And I'll just say that they also probably the lead singer probably said the most punk thing I heard all weekend is he was just basically like, you know what, do whatever the fuck you want, like in terms of like life. And I was like, yeah, okay. I appreciate that.
When life gives you lemons, just say fuck lemons and bail.
What's that from?
That's Paul Rudd in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Gotta see that again.
Yeah, I think Hot Mulligan is fucking awesome. I would say I'm a big fan. Chris is a bigger fan, that's for sure. At this point in the festival, we've been there for about 7 hours or so, and after Bowling for Soup, had to do some things. I don't remember what it was. Get a beer, use the bathroom, all the above, and decided to kind of sit down and looked around at not even like my full group, just the like, because again, Chris, we had a big group. It was like 12, 14 people, and we got separated, whittled down, and it was just me and two others. It was me and Bailey and Steve Kelly. And we sat in the bleachers for a minute right before Hot Mulligan went on, and we looked at each other and we were like, would it be crazy if we just sat in the bleachers and enjoyed the rest of the show and chilled out?
Yes.
Because
yes,
at this point in time, night had fallen, and you look down at that crowd, and there are so many people. And for as many concerts as I go to, I do get a little bit of anxiety when there's so many people, and I have difficulty like finding where I'm at and getting to the places. So we sat down and I watched Hot Mulligan from afar, and we watched the rest of the show in the bleachers, and my buddy Stu gave us some shit about it. But we had you don't have to be a jerk about it. Like, that's what I wanted to do, because again,
no, I agree with him. You guys messed up.
We didn't mess up. We enjoyed the show the way that we wanted to enjoy the show.
You messed up.
No, we enjoyed the show the way that we wanted to enjoy the show. If I want to get access to getting a beverage, getting food, going to the bathroom without having to like navigate like 10,000 people, like, don't fucking come at me, because it's my prerogative. Anyways.
Well, obviously you're heated about this, but
you're kind of poking me to be funny,
have some fun, bro. But you don't sit down during the three biggest bands that are out there for the entire day.
Why not?
That's just
Why not?
I can have an opinion about this, and I guarantee you
But
that
why are you
people
saying
will
that you
agree.
don't do that as if I'm not allowed to do that?
Because it's part of the experience of being at a live concert festival is being able to be up and being close to the band. I mean, I think that I understand if you want to take a quick break and have a seat, but to take a seat for the entire last three bands, I don't understand. And again, I didn't. You do what you want. I never
Well, again,
said that
I
you
just
couldn't.
explained that I do have some anxiety when there's that many people and I can't get to where I need to get to. And I've also seen Jimmy Eat World like a million times and Blink-182 the last 2 years in a row and also a million times. So I had a perfectly clear vantage point of all of the remaining bands, and I was pretty comfortable. So that's what I want to do. I just don't, that was my choice. You can't really, it annoys me that you say that like I did the wrong thing, because that's just what I wanted to do. And other people did too.
I don't understand that either, but it's fine. I don't need to understand everything that
I don't understand.
people
So
do.
how do you not understand if I'm explaining it to you?
I just think you're trying to sell it, and I'm not buying.
Who would I sell it to?
You're trying to sell
anything
You're
to?
trying to sell that it's okay to do that. That it's okay is the wrong word. Okay, you're trying.
It is fucking okay, dude. It is okay.
No, it's not. It's
all right.
It's more important to be up in the annals or in the midst.
The way
of
that you
things.
speak is in definitives, as if everything that you say is correct, whereas everything is subjective. And if I enjoyed myself from the vantage point I was at, it's really none of your business to tell me that it's not okay.
No, it definitely is. But let's talk about Jimmy Eat World.
It's not.
And let's talk about Jimmy Eat World. Absolutely,
It's
is.
not.
But
Hot Mulligan, though, was very good. Hot Mulligan, I certainly enjoyed, and they did put it together a solid set. The only negative that I would say from where I was at was that I didn't get the banter wasn't as clear, because I could get the bully stage was right in front of me, where the other stage was like a slightly blocked. So I got a little bit less of the banter, but certainly enjoyed Hot Mulligan.
I got all the banter. Right in the middle, right on the middle thing. And I got the same thing for Jimmy Eat World right in the midst of it. And I'll tell you what, this is the second time that I've seen Jimmy Eat World at this festival, and they brought it both times. They are amazing. There's an amazing show. These guys are professionals. They're well put together. They know how to make the sound just perfect. They know how to talk to the crowd. They know how to put on the performance from front to back. And they know how to build a set list too. And they got the crowd going early with Pain. I mean, when you open with that, you got me, right? There's just nothing you can do. The energy in that crowd was amazing for Pain when it first started. And it never really ended. There were some songs that I didn't know. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I don't know every single, just like some of the other bands, I don't know every single Jimmy Eat World song like the back of my hand, but I know a lot of them. So they were peppered in where I just kind of had to bob my head and enjoy and not necessarily know. But wow, was this an amazing show that they put on? And it was such a great spot to have them there leading up to Blink-182 and after what Hot Mulligan had just done before them. So I couldn't have asked for more.
I gotta say, I'm looking at their set list, and their songs by title I would think I don't know, but I did know every single one of their songs. And again, when I see their titles, and I think that's happened in the past when looking at their albums or whatever, I'm like, oh, I don't really know that song, but then I'll play it, and I do. I know more than I think I do by Jimmy Eat World, and I'm a pretty big fan, don't get me wrong. I've seen them 5 times. I looked it up before the show started, and I was like, okay, I saw them several times in the early 2000s, and I saw them at Chord like you did, Chris, a few years ago. That was incredible as well. I was really anticipating them playing Blister again, which is one of their early albums. They played it a few years back at Chord, and I loved it. It was such a shock that they played it. And I was kind of anticipating that again, but look, I'm not here to complain. This was an amazing set. It was nearly, I don't want to say perfect, but for a Jimmy Eat World set, it was pretty great. They played most of what I wanted to hear. I love a praise chorus. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I think as far as singles go, Big Casino and Work are also amazing tracks. And then everything else they played was just fun. It was, and they sounded so good. It's like, same thing I'll say about Bowling for Soup. They're professionals. They're just like, they know what they're doing when they get up there. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, they really did. And the energy up front, now, I wasn't like right up front for them, but you could tell like just that energy of the crowd because the lights are down, it's dark. The lights are on, lights are down. What I meant is it's dark outside. But the light show that they have, everything about that performance, it just all added to it. So I was in it. I was in it at that point in time. So really cool.
I think it always surprises me how good they sound. I don't know why, but it always does.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't surprise me at all. It is exactly what I expected. It's exactly what I've seen at every single show that I have seen Jimmy World. And that is, they get out there. They don't do the, they're not doing the Bowling for Soup or the Blink-182 banter. They might say Jim might say a few things to the crowd here and there, but they get out there and they technically fucking kill every single song. It is incredible. The amount, the way that you listen to a live performance by Jimmy World is so, I don't want to say that it's like that it's close to like what you hear on the record, but it's just as good as what you hear on the record, just with that live element to it. And they delivered exactly what I knew that they would. Again, not a lot of banter. They go out there, no pun intended. They work. They kill the songs, put on an absolutely amazing set, and then that was it.
All right. Well, then
it's Blink time.
It is Blink, and I'll tell you what, my legs were killing me at this time, but I ignored it and I stuck with it, and I've been anticipating this show for a long time. I did not catch Blink the first time through. I didn't buy tickets. I didn't see the return of Tom. And, this was my opportunity to see that. So it was really cool that I got a chance to have this experience and see Blink-182 back together once again, live right in front of me, as close as I was to it. I don't think I've ever been this close to seeing Blink-182 in distance, and that was really cool. And again, I didn't get too close to the stage, but we got pretty far up, and I'm glad I did. 22 songs is what I have here, and it felt like 2 minutes. It was just so good all the way through. The banter, the music, the lyrics, the song choices, and we could talk about that here. But overall feeling was I was floored by this band. Obviously, I'm a fanboy. Like I love Blink-182. I mean, that's just all the cards on the table. I don't think that's a secret, but I think that I'm able on this show to be as objective as possible when it comes to talking about what I see and what I hear. And I'm 1,000% honest with this. And maybe it was just the experience of the atmosphere, but they played a mix of everything. And even though, I may have already had a conversation about, what potentially they have played at other shows and the list that they put together for other shows, I knew maybe some of the stuff was coming. It didn't really matter because I didn't hear it. So the fact that I got to hear songs like Turpentine, which I love, probably one of my favorite songs, Dumpweed, online songs, First Date, man, Stay Together for the Kids, Dance with Me. I mean, it's on and on, right? There isn't a bad song. I mean, they even did. The only thing I would say is they did, which is the one, Roller Coaster. I think maybe I forget which. Maybe that was Wishing Well. Wishing Well was the one.
From Neighborhoods.
Yeah, like I think in other shows they did Natives versus Wishing Well, and I probably would have liked to hear that more than Wishing Well, to be honest with you.
Last year they did Natives. This year they're doing Wishing Well pretty much every show.
And I like the song. I just prefer Natives better, but that's okay. It's not a problem. It is what it is. But when you have such a tight connection with a band and you know every song, you can sing every song, obviously it's a different experience. But I think they crushed it. So big fan about this, and I know there's going to be some more conversations, but I'll turn it over to you guys.
Go ahead, Steve. What do you think about Blink-182's?
The last time I saw them was when we were young festival 2 years ago, and it was great. But it was one of those situations where I was so far back that I didn't really feel like I was in it. I was, it was one of those festivals that I don't even know how many. I'm going to guess, I don't know, 80,000 people, 70,000 people. Very different from a festival where you have, I don't know, under 10,000, presumably. I don't really know what the number was at this, but so very different experience. I was, like Chris pointed out, I think, Chris, I agree with you. I was up closer than I think I've ever been for Blink. That was I looked it up again before this recording, and I've seen them 4 times. And one was a radio festival in '99. One, I thought I saw them at Warped Tour. Apparently I did not, unless I just didn't document it. I saw them headline, but it was Skiba. So it was a little different. I think we all agree it's just a different thing. And then I saw them at When We Were Young 2 years ago. And then there was this. And this was by far my favorite time I've ever seen them. It was such a great mix of all the albums. And I don't know, I think you guys agree based on what you said on your podcast episode a while back, but I love the new album. I think it's, the one that came out this past year. It's incredible. It's not my favorite of theirs, but I'm glad they covered it well. They played from Setlist FM. They played 5 songs off of it. And my very favorite song on that album is not Turpentine, like Chris's is, but it's More Than You Know. And they also played that one. And I was shocked. I was like, I just didn't know they even played that song in concert. It's just such a aggressive, energetic, passionate song. It brings out my emotions actually with that one. Besides the One More Time tracks, who doesn't? I love Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. So I was glad to see it was a little heavy on that. So I guess there's some people who would say, oh, the hit album, right? They played maybe too much off of that. I was very okay with that. Roller Coaster is amazing. My 2 favorite songs, I think, by Blink-182 are Anthem Part 2 and Online Songs. So how perfect was this for me?
Back to back.
I was blown freaking away by the set. It was great. I mean, Josie, I didn't even know we were going to get Josie in. M&M's they kind of snuck in M&M's. I didn't realize the name of that song. I had to look it up, to be honest. Kind of like I said about Jimmy Eat World. Maybe I don't know all the names of some of the older songs, but I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I definitely know that song. I knew it when I listened to it, but great set. I was so energized. It's kind of one of those shows where the adrenaline is just 100% for the entire time. And I didn't want to relax.
Oh, that's 100% the way I felt too. There was no way that I was going to be anywhere but where I was. And it was that adrenaline that was pumping. It was just the feeling. And, it was amazing. And by the way, More Than You Know for me is top 3. So cool. I'll give a shout out to you for that song too, because it is amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't let it be Turpentine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the set list, unfortunately, I follow enough things about Blink-182 that I kind of knew exactly what the set list was going to be.
Okay.
Having said that, though, there were several songs that were, are not staples in a normal Blink-182 set that were fantastic to hear. And you guys mentioned most of them. Josie, Online Songs, M&M's. I love M&M's. Turpentine. I'm pretty sure they did not play that last year when I saw them. Roller Coaster with a Travis Barker drum solo. I love hearing Dance With Me every single time. On some of their sets, they do come back out and do One More Time. They didn't do it this time. But overall, the set list itself was great. You guys didn't mention at all the fact that Tom was shit-faced drunk during this set.
Yeah, he was.
And this is
No, he wasn't.
this is not even up for interpretation. And I have some examples I can share. I mean, it's not that
It's wrong, but
it's not that it's the worst thing in the world, but like Tom was literally shit-faced. So I get it. Every time I see Blink, Tom does the thing where when he's singing his songs, he, like meshes words together and pronounces them differently. But during his banter, he could barely speak. He fell over during the set list. He mentioned the fact he stopped the set to apologize to Mark and to the audience for drinking too much vodka. And then actually during Dance With Me, so on my drive home, which was 4.5 hours, somebody recorded the entire set list. So I listened to it back in my car. And to that person, like, I kind of hate you for being up so close and recording the concert the entire time, but I also kind of love you because I can listen to it back. So it's on YouTube. If you look at Four Chord Music Festival, Blink-182, you can listen to the entire set list up front, and there's like clips and everything like that. During Dance With Me, the words are shaking those hips like the devil's got you. And Mark actually says shaking those hips like the vodka's got you. Because again, Tom was just wasted. And I don't know. I hope there's not like internal struggle with the band over something like this. Like if you watch when Tom falls down, like Mark laughs so hard, but he was constantly kind of like telling the audience, here, let me share this. Where is it? It was,
you got it pulled up.
Wait, I might have two of the same one and not the right one. Let me see here. There was four.
I too worried, Steve. I was like, do these guys get along? Like I was wondering at a point during some of their banter, I was like, I don't like, it seems like Mark's kind of annoyed with Tom about this.
I was a little bit concerned about that. Yeah. Again, just and I'm the biggest fanboy of every, I love these guys. Mm-hmm. Where's the one where he falls down? I don't even know if I have it up here. He also shits on Pittsburgh.
Liberty Bell is, or is that Philadelphia?
That's Philadelphia, man. This is the fucking city of steel.
Where's your bell?
That's right.
Oh, you got a steel?
They got steel and Aaron Rodgers. That's what they got here.
Revolutionary War. People are putting their lives on the line. You guys like, we make steel.
Gosh. They made more steel here in World War II than all the other allies combined.
And it happened a couple of times where Mark kind of just seemed to like just trying to like shut him up and let him, like move on with stuff.
See a police sketch artist, and I just tell him the details, and he draws.
Travis, just do a drum solo so Tom can shut up, please. Just do something cool.
I want to sketch Rob Thomas's dick with the police. You guys paid for this shit.
I think we all agree that it was better when Tom had quit the band.
Hey.
I much preferred that. Hey, Matt Skiba's backstage. Get Matt Skiba out here.
Santa hates you.
I forgot about that.
So like it seems like everything is fine. Again, I just get nervous about the lore of Blink-182. I watched some of their stuff. The next night they did a festival in New Jersey. It was called See Here Now. And like Tom got on stage and Tom talked about Stay Together for the Kids and how, his parents divorced and like things like that. It was very serious. Like it was obvious that it was different. So again, I just hope everything's okay. I was really hoping, again, just knowing Rishi, I was kind of hoping that they would like, I don't know, say the words Four Chord Music Festival, like be nice to Pittsburgh, be nice to the host. In my mind, I was like, they should, I wanted to see them invite Rishi on stage and play a song with them. That didn't happen or anything like that. Blink, I guess, is so big that they just kind of show up, they do their thing. But again, there's no Blink-182 concert that's a bad concert, but this was a very interesting Blink. I've never attended a Blink concert quite like this one.
I just wasn't sure, going back to Tom maybe being drunk. I wasn't sure if that was an act. I don't know his personality, his onstage personality, if you will, enough to know if this is normal. I just thought I thought it could be an act. Like could be like a banter act or something.
Yeah,
But
well,
I guess if that's not normal,
I'm gonna
I
let
don't
there
know.
be silence. But I because there's too much butthurtedness on this show. But because I have an opinion, and I don't know how you can tell that from way back in the stands, but I was up there, and
Dude,
see, I knew it.
You're
I
being
knew it.
such a dick to me.
Don't take it so serious.
No, just
Okay.
because you try and steamroll me, and if I actually stand up for myself, I mean, come on, man.
Because I disagree.
Yeah, but you could disagree like in a nice way. You don't have to be such a dick.
We're just talking here. We're just talking. We're just talking, and
Without a
and
doubt,
it's not.
Tom was wasted. I know that you like don't agree. There's
No,
some
because it's
things
not
that were
true.
shtick. I mean, come on, open your eyes, dude.
Steve. It's
Watch
not
the show
true.
back on YouTube. Watch it
All
back.
of that stuff, like that's the way Tom does his thing.
I have
That
seen
fall
Blink-182
was-
so many
That
times.
fall was weak.
That is
Like, you
not
think that was a fall.
Blink-182's
That wasn't a
shtick.
fall.
It was a
Tom
fall.
slurs. Tom does that slurring thing all the time. I've seen videos of live performances.
I've
He
seen them
does
live
that.
like 100 times, dude. This is not what
He
happens every time.
He might have had some drinks and maybe a little buzz, but he was not trashed. He was not, and he was. That's their shtick. If you ever listen to the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, I have the CD if you'd like to borrow it.
He does not sound drunk. He's not drunk. He's
if
not
you like
slurring his words.
If you'd like to hear their shtick, I could give
I've
that
heard
to
it.
you, but it's not. It's just shtick, and I thought it was really entertaining. It's exactly what I wanted to see and hear. Is these guys banter just like we're doing right now, except for someone's getting upset. That's all.
Again, you don't have to keep trying to call me out. I'm not getting upset. I'm just trying to defend myself because
You
come at me.
are the Mark Hoppus to my Tom DeLonge right now.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing.
That is pretty true. I'm the guy who keeps it in reality.
Steve is the Steve is
Steve's the
Travis.
guitar tech who's Captain Longcock or whatever they call him.
No, he's
The handsome
Travis.
guy that everybody takes a
not
look
so
at.
much.
He's
More
Travis,
like
but-
Travis. I just stay quiet.
Just like the T-shirt says, Tom was right. Just like Chris 183 is right. So let's go with that. Especially in this scenario, you guys be the judge. But honestly, don't play into that propaganda and those weird clips. Just think about the shtick that these guys have. Think about the fact that Tom loves to troll. And to troll you, the audience, with the things that he says, that's exactly what he did. And that's it. And that's the end of it. So that's where we'll leave it. You guys be the judge, though. Obviously, that is up to you how you feel. Let's move on to day 2 here. And I don't think there's going to be as much commentary because Wingman Steve wasn't there. And so myself and Steve were there for the majority of the show. Well, me, the majority. Steve, I think, stayed for all of it. And I just had it up. So, Steve, we can go through this, fairly quickly. First of all, very, very different atmosphere. Super relaxed, a lot more space, a lot less people to kind of kick things off. And I will tell you that I believe, Setlist FM is completely wrong in the order that they have here that I'm looking at anyway. They have Sincere Engineer first, Punchline, and then Mallory Run. That is incorrect. So I don't remember that.
That's Mallory Run definitely opened the show.
Oh, they did. Yeah, this is wrong. So that's fine. Whoever did this must have been trying to recover. Punchline was like much later in the show. I'm not sure what they were doing here, but kicking things off with Mallory Run, I actually did get in time to see them. I thought it was a solid set. I mean, we had these guys on the show. I enjoyed the music. I thought they were good. They had a decent crowd, and they played the songs they were going to play. So, what did you think, Steve?
Yeah, I liked them. I listened to them again. That's another band I listened to the weeks leading up to it. And I liked the sound. There's a lot had to do with listening to them interview on your podcast. It's always nice when you can kind of associate a personality to an artist, and then kind of that's like a way in, And so I wanted to make sure I got there for them and support them and see them. But also, a fellow Andrew fan, Mitch from Columbus, he went to college with those guys in Edinburgh. So that was like a second connection besides them being on your podcast. And so I met up with him. We were texting in the morning, and I met up with him. Again, met him there for the first time. We chatted for years, but and so we watched it together. It was kind of cool watching it with a Mallory Run fan and, a guy who knew them. And, it was enjoyable. It was a good set. And they seemed very appreciative of the crowd that they had. And they had a decent crowd.
They did. And I think Runt was next. And I'm not sure what to say about this band. They were definitely different than every other band that had been up there before. I'm not even sure what style they were. I'm sure there's a definitive audience for this music. I wasn't necessarily that audience, so.
Yeah, I honestly didn't pay much attention to them. It wasn't a conscious choice, like anything against them. It was just that I didn't know any of their music, and that was kind of like we talked about Saturday. It's kind of like you need a break somewhere. So that was the time that I kind of walked around, and I actually ran into you during their set.
Yeah.
That I was just kind of walking around, like looking at the vendors, I think I grabbed a beer early on because but yeah, that was kind of where I was at that moment. So I didn't really actively pay attention.
I thought you were actively ignoring me as you walked past and you looked my way, and I was like, Steve. And you were like, you didn't see me, but
I was looking for a spot in the
me.
shade.
Yes.
And so I was looking up above you, and then, you kind of like made eye contact. I was like, oh, that's Chris right there.
I was thinking for a second, like, does he not want to talk to me? It's like, no, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'll just let him go.
I was focused.
So there was a couple bands after that we kind of listened to on the periphery as this is the time of the day where after a really, really intense day before, just kind of hanging out, drinking some beer, water, whatever you had in your hand, and just kind of enjoying the music. So Like Roses, Sincere Engineer, like those two bands were kind of in a row there. I know you actually liked Like Roses, and somebody else actually had posted somewhere that we need to listen to that band, and I thought they were pretty good. I thought they were like Paramore-ish, right? That's what they were kind of like.
A little bit more rough, grungy type grunge vocals more on Like Roses. I thought it was so funny. I took a picture of the lead singer and sent the picture to my wife. Another female led band. She looks like a mom in our neighborhood. And I was like, okay. Her name's Jessie. I was like, Jessie started a punk band and she's in Pittsburgh. And she's obviously not like that at all. But so it was just kind of funny to me. But aside from that, Like Roses sounded great. They sound great on the album. I've listened to their album, and they sounded great out there at Four Chord. So I would definitely watch them again. I would definitely listen to them again.
And Sincere Engineer, to me, they also, I think was it also a female lead singer?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So I think they were very similar. It was not necessarily similar, like exactly, but it was a similar sound. Again, very Paramore type of sounding, pop punk, female singer. I thought, again, I enjoyed what I heard. Nothing blew me away. Like I got up out of my seat and I had to be like, oh my God, like this is amazing. But it was decent, and I'll probably give them another listen.
Yeah, I've been hearing about Sincere Engineer for like a year or two now. And then Mitch, who I mentioned earlier, he had reminded me that they opened for Newfound Glory last year. And that's probably why I've heard of them. And then some other guy I was talking to in the parking lot prior to the show reminded me that they were at Four Chord 2 years ago. And again, so I've probably been hearing about a couple of years, just kind of, being at a distance with them. Never really checked out their music until like a month or two ago. They kind of remind me of 90s grunge, female-led grunge, which I'm all for. So like bring me the grunge sound. So I liked them. And that's why I made sure I watched their whole set. And I really enjoyed it.
Death by Romy is, again, you're talking about a band that is different. Like this is not pop punk. This is not even punk. This is more like goth metal type of sound. And so it was definitely, a different crowd, a different sound. And hey, they were good for what they did. That's not necessarily my favorite. Yeah, my brother actually said that they're going to be on a show with this band in a couple weeks here. So, and my brother's band is definitely a lot harder than any pop punk band or anything like that. So, it's very, very interesting. They were on this on the bill for day 2, but it seemed like they had a decent following. And again, like they didn't sound bad. The music didn't sound awful or nothing sounded off. It just was different. So Steve, I don't know if you felt differently than that, but
Yeah, different is the way I would put it. It was more electronic. It was more pop based, I would call it, than punk. Or rock even. So it just wasn't for me. I like, don't get me wrong, I've found pop music I enjoy, but it's just it was whatever the sound was, it wasn't for me. I watched that one from the stands with you, and I was just kind of like, take it or leave it. Like it's fine, but I wasn't into it.
I was into Koyo though. I had never heard them before, and I don't think anybody ever has said anything about them. But that was the next band up. I think they sounded more like a harder edge, Midwestern emo pop punk band. And I love that sound. I think that's probably like one of my favorite types of sounds. And Koyo is right around that, right along those lines. So I enjoyed that set for sure.
I honestly don't remember what Koyo sounded like, so I'm going to take a pass on that one.
Okay.
I don't know what to say about that.
I think I told you like, hey, this is actually pretty good. And that was probably,
I might have agreed
all I said. Yeah.
At the time. I
think you did.
Yeah.
I think you did, but I think that you were more interested in the next band, and that was Punch Lion, or sometimes known as Punch Line.
Right.
They so Wingman Steve actually asked me about some of the standouts that I saw on day 2, and I started with this band, like Punchline. I think that and Punchline's not necessarily top of my list in terms of bands that I love, but I thought that they killed it. I thought that it was such a solid performance. The music sounded crisp. They were spot on. Steve, I know you were anticipating this performance. Did it live up to that?
I was, and it did. I truthfully was not familiar with Punchline back in the day. They've been around since the early 2000s, probably before that too, actually. And I got into them because the lead singer hosts One Hit Thunder, which is one of my favorite podcasts of all time. I listen every week, and he also produces Chris Makes a Podcast. So some of the 2 music podcasts that I listen to frequently. And so in the bands I always mentioned, and so by association, if you will, I started listening to their music, and I was like, okay, I can get into this. I love their new album. They just came out Friday actually, but they like all bands released some pre-release singles and whatnot. They sound great. It's I don't know. It's like pop rock, pop punk rock. I don't know what you'd call it.
It's got some 80s callback.
Yeah, it's like a different sound, but I like it. It's kind of where I'm at right now, with music. It's I enjoy that new album, and I would highly recommend it. And I was talking to Matt Kelly, who also helped, co-produces or produces and co-hosts One Hit Thunder before the show started, and he was like, "Oh, they're only going to play one song from that album." I was like, "Well, I kind of expected that. I mean, they have a lot of, like all these bands, they have all these albums they got to go back and play, right?" So they only played one off the new album, and that was okay. It was great. I Don't Want to Live in This World Anymore, one of their new singles. But they played, the quote unquote hits, Universe, and I can't remember the other big one. Just
to chime in again, I didn't see the set, but I'm looking at the set list here. They only played 7 songs, and a band that has 25 to 30 years of history, and they've got so many albums. They kind of played one off of almost everyone. I think maybe they played 2 off of 37 Everywhere and 2 off of So Nice to Meet You, but they've got so much, and they put together that 7-song set list. Had to have been fantastic. Like that's a really good. I'm so glad they threw Heart Transplant in there, because that is an old school track.
That's the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah, they don't always play that one, but I'm sure that the folks in Pittsburgh appreciated that, because that was your Punchline action, whatever year that came out, 2001. That is to me the song. But then Universe is a huge song. Caller 10, Flashlight, Darkest Dark. I mean, they put on a good set list.
Yeah, I feel like Heart Transplant and Universe are the ones that I hear about even as like more of a fringe fan of theirs. And then Darkest Dark, I think they recorded on their new album. So I believe there's a version of that on the new album as well.
That's Matt Kelly's favorite song. So he probably influenced them to play that one there.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, but it was good. It was cool to finally see them, and and again, when you have that association a little bit with their personalities, it's kind of a special thing. So it's like you kind of Well, and they have their own podcast where they've talked about the history of their band. So like I know the whole history of their band up to a certain point. And it's kind of neat to have that connection with the music as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We hit our Matt Kelly capacity on the show. So that's as far as we can go with that.
Okay.
So,
moving on.
Is it are you mad, Steve, that he ruined the set list for you by telling you they were only going to play one song? I mean, that's kind of a spoiler. You know what I mean?
A little bit of a spoiler, a little bit, but that's okay.
That's too bad.
I would figure for a 30-minute set, like they're probably not going to play more than one song off the brand new album.
Right.
I mean, sure, it's a spoiler, but I don't think it's too much of a surprise.
I was not surprised by the comment. No, I was like, again, they had, like you said, 25, 30 years of history, and they've got these like, you know, they never had a huge hit. They weren't like a Green Day or Blink or even a Sugar Cult, but they had some scene hits, if you will.
They grinded it out, man. They toured the country.
Who knows what else he spoiled? You know what I mean? Like if he's going to spoil that, I mean, who knows?
I mean, Matt gave me some stickers. I know you said don't mention Matt again, but he did give me some.
And now welcome stickers, in our special guest, Matt Kelly.
Yeah.
We are in the danger zone at this point in time. We are in the red, guys. We're going to redline this.
Is he not a Patreon
show.
member? Or?
So the next band that we saw was Drug Church, and I had no idea what to expect. The guy does not do drugs. He made that clear. But the band is Drug Church, so that's an interesting name and an interesting band in the style that they play. I actually and Steve, I saw you kind of dancing a little bit to this band. They were like think of punk, like classic punk rock with grunge, and I wouldn't say there's much of any pop punk at all, but they did a good job. Like a lot of energy. The guy was very passionate. The lead singer, they were instrumentally, I think, very sound. I didn't love every song, but I think that for the most part, if you're a fan of that style of music, that mash of different styles, this band wouldn't be too bad for you. So that's Drug Church.
I agree with just about every word you said. And you notice that I enjoyed that. But here's the thing: I don't know any of their music. But
yeah, I don't either.
That's what's cool about that set is like I walked up not knowing what they sounded like, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good."
Yeah. Yeah, and I was really, really thinking about. So I enjoyed that, but I had left one or two songs early to go over and get my spot in the middle of the field, right on the middle for Punch for the Wonder Years. Sorry, looking at the list wrong. The Wonder Years band that I was definitely anticipating for day 2, and they did not disappoint, guys. If you have ever listened to the Wonder Years or you're familiar with any of their songs, you know what I mean. You know how good they can be and how good they are. I know they fall into that, that late 2000s, early teens. They may have even been around before that, but in any case, like they played such an amazing set list. You talk about professionals. These guys are definitely professionals. You can tell right away. They only had an 8-song set, which is not enough. I wish they would have done more. They definitely could have done more. But I mean, they did all the hits. They did all the songs that you would want them to sing. Came Out Swinging, Passing Through the Screen Door. They got such a pop for Passing Through a Screen Door. It was really good. And the guy got a little political, but whatever, right? Some of these guys can be. But aside from that, they did get booed a little bit because they said they were from Philadelphia, which I always think is funny. I always think it's funny, but ultimately, from front to back, this was an amazing, amazing set.
Yeah, they're another band that I kind of missed. In like Hot Mulligan, state champs, I can watch them and I can appreciate them, but I don't really know much of their music. I like what it sounded like, just like the other two I mentioned. But I don't really know their music, and it's it was good.
And look, I mean, they do get a little screamy, but they're not like it's not like that. And if you listen to the album music, Steve, I think that you would get into it a little bit more than maybe the live performance. So give it a shot, see what you think, and come back next time and let's see if your opinions not changed, but let's see how they've evolved.
Yeah, I have some friends who are very serious Wonder Years fans, and they just swear by them. And maybe I should check them out.
So, Wingman Steve, have you ever heard of Face to Face, or have you ever seen them play?
I mean, I know the band. I think they're one of those like kind of old school scene staples but I don't know all that much about them.
They're not drive-through, are they?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, because they're Southern California.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now because I'm pretty positive they were on Fat Records with No Effects and No Use for a Name and those kind of bands.
That's what I kind of associate them with, yeah.
Yeah, they were. For years. And I always remember that name, but it wasn't an artist I was too familiar with back then. But you know what? They sounded great. Another like classic punk band on the bill that sounded great.
These guys did not have salt and pepper beards. They had completely just Snow White beards.
Yeah.
Like they were those guys. So but yeah, I mean, I agree. Like I had no expectations going into listening to Face, and the songs were enjoyable for the most part. It's not my style. Like I don't really love that style of punk as much. But I can appreciate it, and especially a song that actually I can think about and say, that sounds pretty good. Like I can bob my head to that. So they had a couple of that, but once again, I was a little bit distracted because I really was looking forward to Say Anything. Before I say anything about that, I talked to Wingman Steve about this a little bit yesterday about how I felt about this band. I'd never seen them live before. I had an expectation in my head based on what I thought I was going to see. So for the other Steve, had you ever seen Say Anything before? Or were you familiar with this band?
Here's my very brief history with Say Anything. I missed them when they hit it with a couple albums early on. Didn't know about them. I heard the name. I think I have an old Burn CD. Say Anything as a Real Boy, but I don't think I ever gave it a good listen, to be honest. So
that's the one.
Yeah. So skip up to 2023 When We Were Young Festival, same place I saw Blink 2 years ago. And I have some friends I was hanging out with that were really into saying it. They were like, you got to watch this band. We have to go watch this band. We're not going to miss them. They're, we're going to skip the headliner if we have to. We have to go see. And I was like, okay. So I just kind of followed them over there. And I was like, wow, that was really interesting. Like he has some banter. Again, 2023. He has some banter. He was very entertaining. He worked the crowd. He did say some things in 2023 that I was like, I don't know if you should say that, but okay. And they were like, no, it's cool. He's just funny. I was like, okay. So skip up. They toured through here last year in Columbus, and I was like, I'm going to go check them out because I was pretty entertained by their music. And again, it was great. Skip up to 4 Chord. You want to start or you want me to start?
No, go ahead.
I was a little disappointed. The musicians sounded great, but I don't feel like the singer Max was on it. And I've heard that about him. I hear he's on and he's off. And I think he had an off day. It was fun to sing along to the couple songs I knew. I don't know all their music, but they played like 4 songs at least off of Say Anything as a Real Boy, which to be expected. And I know all those. And I liked singing along to them and jumping around, and they had beach balls, and that was fun. Just a fun atmosphere. But I felt like the crowd felt similar to me and was like, what's up with this dude? He's just not quite keeping up. What were your thoughts?
I felt the same way. I think the crowd reaction wasn't there. I thought for whatever reason, like the response kind of fell flat to the performance, and the performance did feel like there was something that was off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. In my brain, it did not live up to the expectations that I had set for what I thought this band was going to sound like and be. And I thought for a second it was just because maybe I thought I knew more of this band than I did. But I listened to a lot of Say Anything. Like I'm not a super fan, but listened to a lot of their music, and I didn't connect for some reason. I don't know if he just sang it differently or if he just replaced, melodies with a bunch of weird screaming at places that I wasn't sure it fit. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely did. He did. Yeah.
People, if somebody that liked it, I'd love to get their opinion, but I just wasn't there.
I think if you liked it, it was probably for nostalgia's sake. It was not a great performance. And I hate to say that about an artist, but I don't think that he did as well as I've seen them 2 other times, and I'm not, but I have heard this about them again. So I kind of like, you never know what you're going to get is the expectation that I now have for them. Him specifically, I guess he has some mental health issues, and sometimes he's on and sometimes he's off. And I don't know what his substance situation is, and I'm not going to judge, but like, I have no idea actually, but I don't know what makes him on or off. And I just felt like he was off.
Got it. So look, guys, I had to dip out at this point in time. I had some things I had to get back to at home, and I had to leave. So I did not see the next 3 bands. I really wasn't necessarily looking to see those bands anyway. So it wasn't like I was missing something that I really wanted to see. I was maybe curious about Alkaline Trio, but not enough that I wanted to stay to see them. So I'll really just kind of turn it over to you, Steve, to kind of sum up maybe like those last 3 performances.
I can sum up 2, but I can't sum up 3.
Okay.
So Alkaline Trio, I was excited for. They were one of the selling points for day 2. Not nearly as big of a selling point as some of the artists I was seeing on day 1, but I, again, been a Fringe fan for a long time, if you will. I don't know why I use that term, but I like their albums, but I've never, I'm not like a hardcore fan. And I didn't realize I'd never seen them before until I was watching them. And I was like, oh, I've never seen these songs performed live before. I got to say, I really enjoyed it. It was a great performance. It was maybe how we described a little bit of Jimmy Eat World earlier, and that they come out and they do their thing and they're professional and they do a great job at it. They sing and play their songs, and they don't say a whole lot, but they have heart, and they have, they know what the hell they're doing. And I think that's why people keep coming back for them, to see them in concert. They sounded great. I knew about half the songs on the set list, which I kind of expected, but I liked the sound of it, and the visual was really cool. It wasn't like a Blink visual where there was a crazy lights or anything. There was a little bit of lights, but they had this heart with a skull in it. I took a picture of it, and I just really liked the visual. It's actually my lock phone screen, my phone screen lock screen right now. It was really cool graphic, and it was changing colors throughout, like different bright colors. And they have this like very dark goth kind of tone. They're kind of like dark punk, if you will. And there was I've always kind of liked that vibe of theirs. But I tell you what, I think I don't know if you guys have talked about it on the show before, but I really like their newer album. Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs, I think came out like a year ago. And it's interesting because I never dug really deep into their albums in the past. I've got a couple of them in the basement, but I really like that, and it might be their favorite album of mine. But I was recognizing songs, and I was enjoying it, and I was kind of in the crowd. I wasn't too far up. I was a good distance away where I could walk away if I needed and when I needed to. I was very comfortable, like we talked about earlier. The crowd wasn't tight. I don't know if we've really said that so much yet, but like even Sunday night, the crowd was not tight. It was very easy to get in and out of places, and like very different feel than Saturday night. So I enjoyed Alkaline Trio. Would I pay to go see them again in a headline show? I don't know. Would I go to a festival set and watch them? Absolutely, 100%. It was entertaining. It was fun. And then, so I had a decision to make. I like AFI as much as I like Alkaline Trio. All right. It's like, I could kind of like, again, I would go see them at a festival any day of the week. I don't know that I'd pay for a headline set, but I was like, oh, it's probably my only opportunity I'll ever get to see AFI. And I do like some of their songs, but I had a 2.5 hour drive home. So I went up and sat in the stands for Jawbreaker, whom I don't know the music of. I would compare them to Face to Face, kind of like old school punk. Sounded great. But I don't know their music. It was entertaining. And I got through about halfway through their set, and I was like, you know what? I could go get in the car right now. I could be home by 11:30 at night, call it a night, get a good night's sleep. And I was like, I'm doing it. I don't regret it. I think it was a good decision, but I did miss half a Jawbreaker, and I missed all of AFI, which I heard was amazing by AFI fans, but I didn't see any of it. So I'll watch some YouTube videos of AFI from Sunday night, I guess. So that was it for me at Four Chord.
Okay. I don't know. Like I didn't talk to my brother, stayed the whole time, and I haven't got a chance to connect with him over what he thought. Actually, I think I did, but it was minimal in terms of what the back and forth was. So I think that, and the other thing I also have to consider is he's not the biggest AFI fan anyway. So his opinion is going to be a little skewed, but overall, I would have done the same thing at that point in time. But you'll just have to catch AFI another time for sure. But that was Four Chord. I mean, that was the long and short of it, guys. I know this was a little bit longer of an episode, but we really wanted to take you through everything that we saw. You can jump around, obviously, this episode and listen to whatever section you like. But it was our experience this year, and there was a lot to love. Either day, and this is from my perspective, and I'm sure Steve would agree. Both Steves. That there was a lot to love and a lot that we could really, really just kind of sink our teeth into and enjoy. There was some stuff that we learned that, listened to that was brand new, some stuff we knew, and, maybe some new bands that, we'll start to listen to. Who knows? But guys, any other final thoughts or anything you kind of want to wrap things up with?
I mean, for the price I paid for the 2 days, I saw over 20 bands and I enjoyed almost every single one. So yeah, great experience. I've gone to Four Chord for 4 years now, and I haven't always gone both days. By the way, I went to both days the first year, 2022. Went one day the last 2 of the years. I don't know if I'll go 2 days every year, but I tell you what, if they did some special lower pricing before you see the bill, I might actually consider putting down the money because I love this festival. I think it's amazing. I don't think there's a place in the world like it, to be honest. I've been to a few festivals, not a lot, but I've been to a few, and nothing quite feels like Four Chord. And I like that it's genre specific to an extent. Like there's pop punk and there's punk for the most part. So you kind of know what you're getting. Whereas a lot of these festivals are like, we're going to put every single genre possible to get every type of person possible. That's fine. That's just not for me. I like a genre specific festival. And so Four Chord's where it's at for me.
I totally agree. I wouldn't sign up for like the Coachella type of thing where it's a bunch of pop acts and maybe a couple of bands that I want to see, but Rishi knows what he's doing and he has a formula, and he unfortunately he's got a lot to live up to. I mean, this is without a doubt the absolute biggest bill that he has ever put up. So we'll see what he's got in store for next year. Hopefully it continues. I would think that it's going to continue. I hope that it's nice and big. And Pittsburgh is not my hometown, but Pittsburgh is a fucking fantastic town. Not just for a festival, but let's talk about that. For a festival, the people in Pittsburgh at this festival are like, everybody is like cool and friendly and chatty, and it's a city that doesn't get its props. I know, Chris, you probably believe this as well. It doesn't get its props for being like a tourist attraction, but I mean, it really is. I mean, if you go hang out in downtown Pittsburgh or even the outskirts, there are breweries and like just really nice scenery. It's a great city, and I love, even though it's not my town at all, I take pride that it is Chris's town, and I take pride that it's my friend's town, and I want to see them continue to have this like really cool spot on the map, because this festival is a spot on the map. It is a destination. People flew in for it. People drove in for it. And it's good for the city, even if it's outside the city. I don't really care. It's still Pittsburgh. So I like the good publicity it brings in for Pittsburgh. And Rishi is a guy who's doing it the right way. He's not Live Nationing us with a bunch of high fee tickets. The tickets are going to be reflective upon the bill that we're going to see. Was a ticket cheap? No. Did I see fucking 12 bands in one day that if I added all those together on individual days, I would have spent tons more. Like, yes. So I don't know. I'm a fan of 4-chord, so I look forward to the next one. I look forward to seeing what's in store, and it was great. I enjoyed it.
Agreed. And I couldn't have said it any better. And I think that I'm not going to recap what you just said because I agree with every word. But I will say Punchline disagrees with you on the it's not Pittsburgh because they specifically said that. They were like,
were they
"Hey, guys."
mad that it was in Washington, Pennsylvania?
No, they were like, "Hey, this is Washington, PA. This is not Pittsburgh." I just remember them saying that. And I thought it was funny. But that's okay.
They do have a song like 100% about the state of Pennsylvania, so I guess they are like geographic experts on the state.
I guess so.
Surprised they didn't put that one in there, actually.
This podcast actually does a lot with geography, surprisingly enough, from time to time. So
we like geography.
Steve, if you want to go ahead and plug your show or anything else you'd like to plug.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I talked enough about Andrew McMahon at the top of the episode. You know, I do a podcast about him, about his music. So that's about it. So, thank you guys so much. It was fun hanging out. I always enjoy that. 4-chord's kind of a neat place to meet up with friends, you know, like it's music we all love. And, I look forward to it again next year.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining that episode. I know it got a little heated, but don't worry, everybody's still friends. Make sure you keep on rocking your dad bods. Throw up your rock hands and blast the pop punk.
Dragon Wagon.